Hey folks, this is Alex with Grow, and today we're going to do the first prune on my Black Madoku grape. And this is going to be kind of standard for all grapes with a few variations, but if you do this with any of those, you'll do just fine. My only tools today are a pair of hand clippers, pruners, secators, whatever you want to call them, and a little bit of jute cord. Catch it. Now, if you're new to the channel, please take the time, go hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications of everything that's going on. This grape has been here about 3 years, actually almost 4 years. This is one of the first things I put in when I moved in. I walked into a store that had a variety I didn't see very often, and I bought it and I put it here. This is not an optimal place to put it. You'll have people in the comments that will decry me for planting a grape along a fence. I get that. It is not the optimum space, but I'm on less than a quarter acre, and so I use what space I have. This space was open. It's going to stay here. The other thing is this has struggled here. The second spring I had it in, we had a really late freeze. It knocked everything back to the ground. Normally I will do this pruning after the first or second growing season. Depends on how it grows. This I had to wait an extra year because of that weather. I didn't know if I was going to even keep the plant. But what we're going to do is we're going to train one branch along here, along this main support here for the fence, and then I'm going to cut everything else off. And that's going to be the branch that stays, and the branches that come off of that are going to provide the fruit. So given the size and the age of this, I'm going to do most of my cutting down to the ground. And I'm going to make sure the camera is adjusted for that, and then we'll talk about a little bit about what I'm doing as we go. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find branches that are going more or less the right direction and are more or less healthy. I've got a lot to choose from. This one in here, this one, or that one that's crawled in there are all good options. Now, this is why doing it with the chain link fence or on a chain link fence is not preferred, because the branch that I think I want is this one, and it's in the wrong part of the fence. So I'm going to cut things I know I don't want, get them out of the way. That one's too short. This one's actually well placed, but it's not the sturdiest branch. I did not mean to actually literally rip that from the plant, but there you have it. Grapes are delicate that way. As you go down, you need to make sure that you're cutting the branch you want to. Many times you're cutting and you're working on stuff, and that branch you want that's absolutely perfect, you end up cutting because you're so busy cutting you don't realize what you're doing. Now this one's one of my preferred ones. I don't want to cut this yet because right now I'm cutting the branching tendrils, the things that tie on to stuff, so I can actually get this branch out. And actually, this is good enough. Ooh, that's going to be a tough call on that. And it's nice to have good branches, several of them, because then you have the choice of what you want to do. I actually cut the tip on that, but that's because I know I don't want to go any taller than that. Both of those branches are really quite healthy. I'm looking for really actually the width of these. I want the length, but I also want a good branch that's showing vigorous growth. And I got that one free, but I did get some severe bending down at the bottom. I'm going to compare some of these. You know what? I really want that one. I'm down to one vine. I promise you, this thing is gonna re-sprout from the ground. Okay, I'm gonna take my bit of jute cord. Now, the reason I use jute is because it's biodegradable. I've seen people tie down with those little plastic stretchy ones. Those things last forever, and if they start cutting into the plant, they're just gonna keep on cutting into the plant. Zip ties are horrible. I've seen stuff supervised by a county extension agent, not in my county, not in Utah County, but in another county, who's had stuff tied up with zip ties. I can guarantee you those will damage your plant. These can damage your plant, but with time, even one, this might be treated, it's green, I'm not sure. Even if it's treated, it's gonna break down eventually, and I want that because this is not a permanent tie down we're doing. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take it to that central point that I wanna keep it at, and I'm actually gonna tie it through the wire mesh of the fence, because that will give it more support than the post as far as sliding up and down. I'm gonna tie it under where there's an old tendril or leaf attachment. You saw how that just slipped? All I'm really trying to do is keep this centered and keep it from slipping. So I'm going to tie it only tight enough to keep it from slipping. And that will be removed probably next year. And honestly, once this thing puts out a few tendrils, it's going to take care of everything itself. Now I'm going to take this near the top, just above the topmost bud of what I want to grow. And I'm not even going to necessarily tie it in. I'm going to take a tendril and just kind of slap it there. I may have to put another tie up top. But what's going to happen with this grape is, since this is a new growth vine, I've got a lot of buds along here. So by making this by far the predominant leader, all your growth is going to be on this leader. It's going to grow up, but we're also going to get some outward growth. About mid-season, I'm probably going to come out here. I want to redirect that growth early on, so I just don't want to mess with it all come spring. And again, I'm doing this in January. Optimal time for this is more towards March. By the time that it's time for you to see this or do it yourself, you're not going to see this. It's going to be too late. This will not damage it, pruning now. It's just not necessarily optimal, and that's fine. It's got everything it needs except possibly another tie up top, and I'll evaluate that over the next couple days. Please leave any questions, comments, blasting me for tying this onto a fence. I'm good for it. In the comments below, if you like this kind of thing, if you like gardening, if you like sustainability, if you like doing stuff yourself, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notification of everything we put out. We'll catch you later. Manana.